You're listening to Telehell's secret audio design laboratory, where even as we speak, the top minds behind both audio, technology, science, construction, restoration, hearing aids, and attention spans are working feverishly around the clock to bring you something that has seldom been done on a podcast before. Six years ago, during the first height of the COVID pandemic, we were forced to record certain episodes of Telehell in, shall we say, less than optimal conditions. But then again, compare that to the billions of people in the world who had to adjust from working in an office to working from home to inevitably turning their home into an office. And we were no exception. Up until we got our act together later that spring of 2020, we wound up producing 5 episodes of the show that, if you hear them once again, fell far short of our own standards, but still had to air because, as they say, the show must go on. How bad did they sound? Here's just a sample.
June 11th, 1990. Dick Tracy was about to become a polarizing hit for Disney. The Detroit Pistons were on their way to winning a second consecutive NBA title. Video arcades welcomed the challenge of Sinistar.
Run, 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 beware, coward.
Michael Cimbello's Maniac was well on its way to being a one-hit wonder. Well, at the risk of judging a book by its cover, I'd say that we're in very good hands here.
Notice the flagrant disunity of vocal elements, the abundance of high-end muffling, the clutter.
Sunday, at the Hell Dome. It's the 185 millionth annual Mother's Day Car Crash-a-Palooza. See all your favorite cars from works of fiction in a series of one-on-one smash-up battle royales. See the bus from the Partridge Family take down Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus. Come on, get smashing!
Alright, I swear, last Python clip I'll use. And you can brand me with a fire-coated pitchfork if I do it again.
Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?
The Rodney Dangerfield superfan who has pictures, posters, and a cardboard cutout in his room, and previously summoned the same person earlier in the show, is now asking that same person, is that you?
You don't have to be an expert in sound design to see that what you just heard felt like wearing a used sock over your head, thus assaulting 4 out of the 5 senses somehow. And that's where our secret audio design laboratory comes in. Thanks to recent updates and technologies that most governments will completely disavow, we were able to take the audio tracks we recorded 6 years ago and take them to their furthest extreme. The boys in the lab were able to develop, refine, mold, polish, hone, and pull out of left field the opportunity for these 5 wayward episodes to achieve the level of quality that the remaining 116 episodes of Telehell have been able to live up to. The results of which will begin being heard on January 18th, 2026, in a new miniseries we're calling
Telehell Remastered.
We're taking 5 of our shows from Season 2 of the podcast and giving them the glow-up they deserve. On January 18th, Nearly Departed.
Death is the dark side of things.
February 1st, Where's Rodney?
It was so cold, it was colder than my wife's handshake on our honeymoon.
February 15th, The Laugh Track.
It was a baby! She smothered her own baby!
March 1st, We Got It Made.
A comedy so funny, you'll laugh till you turn blue.
I look like a giant smurf.
We got it made.
And March 15th, My Mother the Car.
No, not the backseat, Davy. Down here. But just don't sit there with your mouth hanging open. Say hello.
Hello, Mother.
5 poorly recorded shows restored to a point where they are, at the very least, presentable. Now, you may be asking, why are we doing this? Are we doing this because it's a cheap gimmick to gain more clicks? Is it because we're stalling for time until we come up with new episodes later this spring? Is it because we just want to show off the fancy technology we have? What's more, are these just going to be over-enhanced, over-glorified reruns? And wouldn't it have been a lot easier to simply re-record the show with the mic that you're currently using? The answer to all of those questions is obviously yes. But to make sure you don't tune us out completely, each of these audibly restored, surgically enhanced reruns will not only have cleaned up audio, but we may also be adding new material to the shows that we may have left out the first time. Does that mean our top 7 list on the laugh track will become a top 8 or higher? Does this give us a chance to correct any mistakes we made in these 5 shows? Are we simply just pandering without pulling any punches? The answers to those questions is a resounding yes. But if you still need convincing that what we're going to do is not a waste of anybody's time, let's seal the deal with a quick demonstration. Now, as we said, we'll be starting this run of remastered shows with a redo on episode 15, the 1989 Eric Idle 4-episode wonder, Nearly Departed. We're about to play a quick clip of what the show sounded like 6 years ago, followed by how that same clip sounds 6 years later. This is to give you the notion that we really are putting in the effort to make these shows sound like all the other ones. So now, here is how the first minute of our Nearly Departed episode sounded 6 years ago.
It's Monty Python's Flying Circus is arguably one of the greatest TV comedies ever made. And in addition to endlessly quotable moments forever burnt into our brains,
Spam, 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 baked beans, spam, 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 and spam.
the show also made stars out of its 6 cast members. So much so that when the series finally came to an end in 1974, and the strength of their movies only solidified their individual star status, the troupe managed to achieve success in numerous solo projects. From various...
And now, here's how that same minute sounds under our remastered treatment.
It's Monty Python's Flying Circus is arguably one of the greatest TV comedies ever made. And in addition to endlessly quotable moments forever burnt into our brains,
He's reversing the old woman. He's got her absolutely beautifully. Now he's going to accelerate forward there to wake up the neighbor.
the show also made stars out of its 6 cast members. So much so that when the series finally came to an end in 1974, and the strength of their movies only solidified their individual star status, the troupe managed to achieve success in numerous solo projects. From various TV classics.
If you need any further convincing, let's strip away the whistles and bells. Here's how just the voice track sounded 6 years ago.
By the late 1980s, television had seen its fair share of dramatic shifts over the decades, not to mention an increase in maturity in both the content being presented and just who would consume the entertainment. 2 people that seem to have missed that memo were the writing team of John Baskin
Followed by
and Roger
how it
Shulman,
sounds in present-day time.
By the late 1980s, television had seen its fair share of dramatic shifts over the decades, not to mention an increase in maturity in both the content being presented and just who would consume the entertainment. 2 people that seem to have missed that memo were the writing team of John Baskin and Roger Shulman.
Of course, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Something we wish we had down here in hell. To hear how this and the rest of the shows are going to sound, tune in to
Telehell Remastered.
beginning January 18th, wherever you stream podcasts. If the sound engineers can get them all finished on time, of course. All right, back to the drawing board. Let's go.
Telehell was written, produced, edited, and narrated by me, Justin Hart.
All clips used in this program are protected under the Fair Use Doctrine of the U.S. Copyright Act of 1976, and all clips used come courtesy of their respective companies and owners. Some of the music used in this program comes courtesy of YouTube and their audio library service. Telehell is a production of Horton Road and is distributed by Libsyn. You know how I feel about the term New Year, New You. That's why our places to hear the show have stayed exactly the same. Everywhere you can hear a podcast, you'll find us at Telehell Podcast. Especially listen to us on our YouTube channel, which is at Telehell. And of course, do not forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and give us just some semblance of feedback as to whether or not we're screwing this up or not. Everywhere you look, it's at Telehell Podcast on Facebook, on Blue Sky, on Apartheid Clyde's page. It's all at Telehell Podcast. Or if you want to contact us directly, feel free to comment either directly on the episode itself at telehell.libsyn.com or our complaint line, telehellpodcast@gmail.com. One way or another, we'll hear you.
Another great show from Horton Road.